Hello and welcome to this special show on Rajya Sabha Television. I'm Vishal Dahiya, and here we take stock of all the efforts being made by India to go ahead and combat the COVID-19 pandemic. All aspects in terms of drugs, vaccines, testing strategy, and other such work being done by health workers, government agencies, and private individuals as well. So today we are going to specifically talk about a particular test which has now been recommended by ICMR to go ahead and detect COVID-19. Now, this particular test is known as antigen detection test, that is rapid antigen detection test for COVID-19. And for more on this, we're joined by a distinguished panel. Let me first introduce the guest to you, starting with Dr. Rakesh Mishra. He's the director of Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, CCMB, a CSIR institute. We also have with us Dr. Raman Gangakhedkar. He's scientist G and head of Epidemiology and Communicable Disease Division in ICMR. And we also have with us Dr. Archusman Mohapatra. He's a well-known epidemiologist and community health expert as well. So let me begin with you, Dr. Gangakhedkar, and let's start by giving our viewers a lowdown on what exactly is rapid antigen test. How does it work and how is it used?
Yeah, for that, perhaps we need to first understand what is antigen and what is antibody. Now, when an organism goes into the body, there are two things that are happening. One, the organism is present in either one of the bodily secretions. Here, in this case, it's not blood, because that's a peculiarity of this virus. Most often it is present only in nasopharyngeal tissue and certain parts which are not accessible to us, like lungs, or pneumocytes of the lung. Now, this particular organism, when you try to detect it by certain parts of its genes, you tend to say that it is an antigen. And when you say antigen, it also means that if the body has to produce a weapon, which is called as antibody, now this antibody production can be stimulated by that part of the gene or that organism, and ideally we call it as an epitope or an antigen, which provokes an immune response of production of antibodies in the by the person against any particular germ. So in other words, what one needs to remember, that when we say antigen, it is actually talking about that organism or part of that organism. When we say antibody, it is a component of immune system which the system produces against these are proteins which are produced against that antigen or that organism itself. So there are two ways to detect. You could ideally also go for detection of antigen, or you could go for detection of antibody if you were to say whether a person is infected or has been infected. Now, one advantage of antibody test is antibody test tells you whether the organism had or has entered in the body. When it comes to antigen test is likely to come faster positive, because it doesn't need generation of antibody against it. It just needs to document presence of that particular organism. And once you see that, you know that perhaps the person is infected, right? So this is an antigen based test. One of the best.
So it's an early stage detection sort of COVID-19, much before the antibody test can get it.
Yeah. So one of the things which we need to recognize is RT-PCR test is also detecting an antigen. But one must understand that when you do RT-PCR, you require longer time to process the sample. Whereas this particular test, which is first of its kind, which is being used currently, which we are contemplating to use in India, this is first of its kind of test, which will detect the presence of antigen within 15 to 30 minutes of collection of this particular sample, which essentially means the delays in diagnosis can be avoided because you would first offer it as a screening test, whereby you tend to see whether the person is positive or negative. If the person is positive, then you take appropriate steps by looking at the disease condition in that human being. If the test comes out as negative, in order to cover the risk that it could be false negative, we are also planning to offer RT-PCR test for all those who turn out as negative. So what has it achieved? It has achieved that in a large fraction, you might see that you could diagnose within a short period of time, and then you are also ascertaining, those who come out as negative. You would provide RT-PCR and ascertain whether he is truly negative or not, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the best part of this test, and this becomes essential.
And how is this test conducted now?
No, this test is also done on the same nasopharyngeal swab. This is not a blood test, but a swab that is collected from nasopharynx. This is a point of care test so that it can be performed in the field itself. And this is easy to perform in the sense that anybody who is trained should be able to conduct it, and you don't need a very highly qualified individual to actually do it. It can be very easily done by a lab technician, and therefore the advantage is in a given area, you could actually take this particular test kit, call that person to that site, you test that right there, and you will be in a position to offer him the test result in a short period of time. So that's something which is a big advantage. So you use the same swab, you put it into a test tube kind of thing, and then take the same solution, put it on a pregnancy test like card, and then try to read after the specified period whether there is presence of line, and it becomes very easy to distinguish whether the person is infected or not. So it doesn't require an additional gadget to see whether the test is positive. The visual cues are sufficient.
Okay, so easier to conduct and faster diagnosis there as well. Some aspects of rapid antigen test out there. Let me also take views from Dr. Mishra and Dr. Archusman here, and then I'll come back to you, Dr. Gangakhedkar, on other aspects as well, such as when or where will it be available, or has it already started being used? Let me first bring in Dr. Mishra here. Dr. Mishra, your views on this kind of test. Does it, come across as a sort of a game changer in the situation where we are right now in the fight against COVID-19?
This is certainly a very useful tool. We are fighting a battle which is a big one, so we need every possible arsenal, and is most welcome introduction for our country that we have an antigen-based test. Having said that, we will have to see whether it will become a game changer or not. It will certainly be very useful for positive cases. So somebody who is picked with some symptom and it test shows is a positive, then certainly it is a positive. Go ahead and take care of the patient. The only thing is that the test sensitivity is limited, so all the negative don't necessarily be negatives, which is going to be the larger number. Normally, we expect fewer people, let's say 5%, 10%, depending on where you are. So most tests are going to be negative. But having said that, this is really something very useful for clinicians to know that there is a positive case and you take care of that one. The basic difference, as Dr. Gangakhedkar already explained to you, that both the tests like RT-PCR and the antigen-based test are actually detecting the presence of the virus, not the immune response. So this is the early test. So you have been infected, but the only difference here is that here directly the protein is tested. So that means you need a certain titer of the virus. Essentially, when you are pouring, you need really several hundred, maybe 1,000 viral particles to detect. While RT-PCR, though it takes time, but it does what is called polymerase chain reaction. It amplifies. So theoretically, even 1-2 molecules, if they are there, you will be able to amplify sooner or later, and you will see. but that costs more money. As Dr. Ganga Kitkar already mentioned, you need lots of equipments and gadgets for that, and it's expensive. I'm sure this is going to be much cheaper and more accessible. So this will certainly be very, very useful for patient care. It might not change the game of large scale testing because their negatives need to be still verified, and those who are declaring negative, there is 30-40% or 50% chance they might be positive, because there's limit. Each test, each weapon has its limitation. So that is that will be thing. But we have been looking for such a test to come, and it has come. I'm very happy. I'm sure the community, the clinicians will be very happy, because this gives them very good handle to quickly take decision about the patient.
Okay, wonderful. Dr. Archiswan?
Yes, so I personally am very happy that this test has come. Looking at the COVID situation in the country at the moment, it's not anymore just epidemiology. It has become social medicine as well. So stigma is associated with it. There is much anxiety while awaiting a test, both from the test seeker side, from the provider side. So this particular test can be rapidly scaled up across the country, can give a very fast diagnosis, is not as much skill intensive, can be used at the point of care. Like 2 to 30 degrees Celsius is fairly good temperature range. And especially because India is currently walking a very tight rope. It is being criticized for not testing enough. At the same time, our capacity for testing is overwhelmed. So how do we mitigate this particular situation? This test provides this opportunity. Costs have come down. So welcome, absolutely welcome, especially with the strategy that they're going for hotspot and this containment zone are being prioritized. Of course, there is a pre-test probability is really high. So even if with manageable sensitivity, it's good enough. Like pairing it with RT-PCR, it gives a very good hope.
Okay, so these are the varied aspects as far as rapid antigen test is concerned. But Dr. Raman Gangakhedkar, let me come back to you and let's look at the utilization of this kind of test in a situation where we are right now, as I was asking Dr. Mishra as well, in terms of where does the government plans to go ahead and utilize these kind of techniques, because this is cheap, this is easy to access, this gives faster results. So in terms of testing strategy or our testing capabilities, where does it leaves us?
We are planning to use it in two important settings. One is in the containment zones. The second is in the hospitals in OPD setting, or wherever the person is likely to undergo surgery, where the aerosol generation is likely to occur and pose a risk to the operating surgeon, the anesthetist, and that entire team. Now, how do we do that? Now, when you think in terms of containment zones, there will be house-to-house visit of the healthcare worker. The worker will try to find out if any of them have influenza-like illness symptoms that are present in any member in that household. That member would be told to come to a particular place where everything has been kept. Currently, we are thinking of poll booths where they will come. Now, one of the advantages of this strategy is we know in containment zones, the prevalence rates are likely to be fairly high. And therefore, even if its sensitivity, which ranged between 50 to 84% in two different hands, one at AIIMS and also two other studies that we did in ICMR itself, one of the things that might happen is the sensitivity will increase because you are going to do it in the hotspots, where the prevalence rates are high. And it would essentially mean that my positive predictive value will be influenced in such a nice manner that I might be able to detect a case. Now, what will happen once you detect the case? One of the principles of prevention in such a case is, such disease is, that you detect the person, you go for contact tracing, and then whoever is found positive, you need to either isolate him at home or an institution, or if he requires medical care, you take him to the hospitals as such. So this will be extremely useful because you will be able to identify more number of people who are present in the containment zones and are positive. Whereas one of our sero surveys has shown that this prevalence rate continues to be low in general community, but in the containment zones it tends to be high. So it will be useful as a prevention tool, for not letting this disease spread. In the hospital setting, there are patients who come with this particular complaint. This will happen more often when the monsoon season will start. There will be many people who will come with cough and cold and fever as a symptom. Then how do you decide whether he has it, he doesn't have it? If somebody comes with classical symptoms of this particular COVID-19 also, you want to first ascertain whether he has it and then send him to COVID ward, or you would perhaps, if he is found to be negative, you will send him to a non-COVID ward as such. That decision making takes its own time. Perhaps in such decision making, it will greatly assist a clinician to decide where he should be sending. And same is true when there are certain procedures, surgical procedures, where aerosol can be generated. If the test is done and he is found as, the person is found as positive, then appropriate care to ensure that this aerosol generating procedure takes place in what we call as aerosol boxes, in which the surgeries can be performed so that the person is not harmed. Nobody who operates is harmed. This would be required, and those aerosol boxes are also costly, and this will reduce expenses by testing by this particular methodology. If the person comes out as negative, we will offer RT-PCR to confirm that.
Okay. Dr. Archishman, your views on that aspect, as Dr. Ganga Kherkar is pointing out, that this will be used as a preventive tool and also a long-term, process. It's a long-term aspect also being looked into, and will obviously be of help to clinical people out there, clinicians, to go ahead and take a final call, take a final decision.
See, traditionally, any service that is offered very close to the client makes it very cost-effective. So even those information haven't yet poured in, but I'm sure they will also come in time. This particular dilemma that sir was talking about, Dr. Ganga Kherkar was talking about, absolutely I agree. Because when we get a patient reporting to our COVID hospital and we take a sample and we are waiting for the test result to come, that duration, decision making is paralyzed. So what do you do actually? You put the person on standby, send him or her back home. What exactly to do? So that decision making will become very fast. Also, it makes the entire process very easily interpretable. So when you are scaling out a test across India, from Maharashtra to Tripura, from Srinagar to Kerala, how do you ensure that your staff or person who is collecting a swab or the person who is reading an RT-PCR does it with highest quality? Mislabeling is avoided. So all these issues are taken care of by this test. It becomes very standardized. It becomes a very sustainable process. And that's why in the long term, this will come as a handy strategy.
Okay. Dr. Mishra?
Yeah, so I just fully agree. I have only one more suggestion in this, that see, when you do testing, even from, let's say, high prevalent areas, once you have done testing and you have found the positive with this new method, which is just fantastic, now the negatives can actually be pooled and tested very quickly. So now, because you have taken out the positive, so the guys, the samples which are going to be positive in the so-called negatives are going to be few because of sensitivity of this method. So if you combine these two, actually you can enhance your testing capacity in general by 4-fold, 5-fold, because ICMR has issued advisory and we have been using pooling of the sample if the positivity is less than 5% or something. Now here, by screening with this method, it will ensure that I think the positivity will be much less than 5%, because most positive will be picked by this kit. And then you can very quickly screen rest of the sample and give a result at much lower cost. 5-fold increase pooling means you are going to spend also 5-fold less money, less effort. RT is expensive method. So I think this antigen-based detection is going to be fantastic if it is used in. First, I mentioned it will be really good for the clinician because they can take decision what to do with that, and even the remaining negatives can be handled far better and much more quickly. We can get the results at several fold less cost at several fold more quantity. If a center is doing now 400 tests a day, can easily do 2000 tests on that day because now center will going to pool the test because these are already screened by this antigen, which is a cheaper test. So I think this will be fantastic. I'm really excited, and we would like to use these kinds of approaches to increase because we need to test large numbers. That's an important thing.
Okay, definitely. We need to test large numbers out there. Dr. Ganga Khedkar, your views on that suggestion which is coming in from Dr. Mishra in terms of utilizing this particular test?
No, I agree with him. Pooling is one strategy that we talked of for both. Even for individual diagnosis, we said if you can pool 5 samples together, because then it makes sense to go for individual diagnosis. If the prevalence rate is less than 2%, if I recall it correctly. And then when it came to for surveillance purposes, we said you can pool 25 samples because we are more likely to have negative samples in a given setting. So for both those purposes, you can use. At this juncture, when it comes to hotspots and probably the outpatient setting of the hospitals, you are more likely to see patients who may be coming out as positive. So there the concentration of effort would be to detect them whether if they are positive or negative and take appropriate action. In a community-based setting, in the containment zones, we can definitely use it the way Sir was saying, and it could be a useful tool to extend support for prevention and control interventions.
Okay, Dr. Khedkar, one more last question here before we bring this show to an end, and for our viewers' sake to understand the situation in a much better way, is if you could throw some light on the testing capability situation right now, what we have, the plan from here onwards on scaling up those capabilities, and the entire testing strategy which we intend to follow from this moment onwards to tackle this situation.
Now, I can only say one thing. We have sufficient testing capacity, sufficient test kits that are available. If I was to give, I won't name cities or whatever. We are not utilizing our capacity to the fullest. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, how much of ramp up can still happen? Perhaps we can still add another 100,000 samples without stretching too much. You need to remember that most often when we talk of capacity, we talk of one shift that is about 8 hours of work, because this is in typical settings where people tend to work for 8 hours. You can stretch it, but we hope that that stage that you have to test so many may not come, and especially when you have tests like this and serologic test coming up, perhaps the options will be wider in terms of testing.
Okay, there it is. Thank you so much, Dr. Raman Ganga Khedkar, Dr. Ashtishman, and Dr. Rakesh Mishra for sharing your views with us on this particular topic. So this is all about the new rapid antigen test, about which the guidelines have been put in place by ICMR. And as our panelists are pointing out, it is much faster in terms of producing results and obviously cost effective. And there are strategies in place for utilizing this kind of particular test in containment zones to try and make good use of this particular test. And in terms of testing strategy and testing capabilities, as our panelists pointed out, we have the sufficient capacity to go ahead and test sufficient number of people at this point in time. Let's hope that situation from here onwards will only improve, and all of us should also work together on that aspect only. Keep watching Rajya Sabha Television. Thank you for being with us on the show, but do not forget to follow all the norms on social distancing, and also don't forget to wear a mask when you step out of your house. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.